We're now joined by the head coach of the Duke Blue Devils, Carol Lawson. We'll have an opening statement from Coach, followed by questions. Coach.
Happy to still be playing. Obviously the quick turnaround for both teams with a noon tip on Sunday. So trying to give our players kind of a crash course into Oregon and get us as prepared as possible for the ball goes up. A lot of things that stand out about them, great experience, fifth-year point guard, sixth-year two guard, fourth year, third year in the starting lineup. So just a lot of games played in their careers. And so we've faced some teams similar to that in terms of the experience level this year. So hopefully we can combat some of that. And then certainly the size and the paint gives them a great presence offensively and defensively, and then great scoring guards as well. So definitely a team that can cause us a lot of problems on both ends. We'll have to play well. We'll have to play really disciplined, and we'll have to give our best.
Questions from the room? Third row.
Mitch Northam, SB Nation. Oregon for the first three quarters yesterday, it felt like really sort of imposed our will on the game, especially on the defensive end. What about their defense really stood out to you, I guess, when you watched them on film, I assume, this morning or late last night?
Well, they have the great size in the paint, and so, I can kind of keep her there. And so it's hard to get to the rim with a defensive player like Che, and I thought they were really active defensively. I mean, they force, I think it's like 18 turnovers a game. So they're active. Like, it's not like they're just sitting back letting you do stuff. I mean, they have activity and length and intelligent players. So I think they force you into the shots that they want you to take consistently over the course of a game, and they do that over and over and over. And then they're really smart on the offensive end as well.
More questions from the room? Same.
Mitch Northam, SB Nation. Obviously, you've had to prepare for teams with Deja Kelly on them before in the past couple of years when she was at Carolina. Has her game evolved at all, you think, or changed in any way? And what still makes her kind of a tough matchup?
I think she's always been one of the top guards, in the country, and so I don't think that's anything different. Can make big plays, unafraid of the moment. Used to being in high pressure situations. So, they can probably speak to in terms of her evolution more. I haven't watched her all year. Obviously, just started watching them last night. So, but really good player.
More questions from the room? We're on Zoom. Fourth row.
Hey, Coach. Kelly Graham with ESPN. What went into the decision to start Toby in the second half against Lehigh? Maybe trying to get her going. Just curious there.
Yeah, Toby and Vanessa. I was just trying to even out minutes. I wish it was something really, smart. It was just Fournier had picked up 2 fouls in that first half, and Thomas had played 14 of the 20 minutes, and felt comfortable with the margin. That I felt was more important to kind of get all our 10 players in the rotation, like stretches of minutes beyond like a minute and a half, meaning like a stretch of minutes where they would get tired because we hadn't played in those 2 weeks. So I was trying to give them chunk minutes, like 4 or 5 minute stretches, so they could feel that fatigue and kind of get it out of it. So, like Mayer was at a higher number of minutes too, and I think DeJesus was maybe up maybe like 6:56 after the first half, and Toby was like around there too. And so I didn't want her first time getting tired to be the second round. Yeah, so it was just trying to even them all out. So I think Wood had 24, which was the most of our team last night. And Wood wouldn't have been that high. It's just Donovan was in foul trouble in the first and the second half. So I went with Wood more. So, yeah, it wasn't anything at all, really. And we've done that through the year. We've changed the starting lineup at halftime through the year for one reason or another. It's not always been performance-based. Sometimes it's just been minutes balanced. It just depends on what we're feeling. So that's what we went with. And I thought both V and Toby started the third quarter well for us. So that was good. But I thought Thomas was terrific yesterday. You know, I thought she played really well. If I'd have played her more minutes, she might have had like 20 and 10. I mean, she was rebounding at a high rate and physical and all of that. So, you know, I said that to T and Delaney. I mean, we've done it before, but I said to him, I said, hey, you didn't do anything wrong. You know, don't stress about this. It's just I'm trying to balance your minutes because we might need you the whole time on Sunday. You just don't know what Sunday presents. So you want to make sure that they've gotten up and down, but there's not as much fatigue if you're up by that margin. And you don't want to extend someone unnecessarily when you're up by 30 or 40.
More questions from the room? Third row.
Mitch Northam, SB Nation. Just to follow up on Delaney, you know, she was one of your double-digit scorers yesterday. I think had 7 rebounds alone in that second quarter where y'all went on that big run. How have you seen her kind of grow and improve this season?
Yeah, Delaney's kind of like one of the most underappreciated players on our team because, you know, the stuff that she does, she's very consistent. So there's not like a high and a low with her a ton. So some players you'll have like these extreme highs. And so when they pop like that, you're like, holy cow, it's unbelievable. But then if you watch some players through the course of the year, like they have lows too, but you just remember the high games and you remember unbelievable plays and you're like, oh my goodness. Thomas is steady. You know, Thomas, I know exactly what I'm going to get from her. She knows our coverages better than anyone. She knows our playbook better than anyone. I can play call and change in the middle of a play call something on the fly, and Thomas can do it instantaneously. So there's a lot of things that she brings that most people miss or glance over. And that's not, people aren't bad when they miss or glance over. We have a lot to look at because we play so many players. So it's kind of hard to like narrow in on each kid's gifts and what each kid brings to the team. But she brings so much to our team. And she's one of our best finishers when you look at her field goal percentage. She's one of our best rebounders when you look at like per 40-minute rebounding averages. She's our best screener, by far, our best screener. And so a lot of the plays that, you know, Richardson getting open off an action or Jackson getting open off an action or DeJesus and Mayer getting downhill off an action, a lot of the times it's a Thomas screen, you know, and she doesn't, you know, there's no stat for that, right? And then she's really physical. She's really physical and strong. And so in the paint, that's come in handy for us. And then she's experienced. She's not as experienced as she's a sophomore, but she played in the system last year. And so she played in big games last year, and she played big in big games. Delaney's always played well in big games for us. If you go back to her history, even as a freshman, you know, she's played great. She played great at Stanford last year. She played great at home against South Carolina last year. She played great against North Carolina at home. She was our leading scorer. She played great against Ohio State in the second round last year. And there's many games this year she's played great. So she's just super consistent, and she knows she has every detail down. You know, if you ask her any detail of a scouting report, Delaney knows it. She can remember and has great recall, and she's a critical piece. And so, like I said, she's probably one of the more underappreciated kids because her high games aren't ones that are like, wow, look at what she did. But, man, there's no way we're where we are without Thomas. I mean, she's been incredible for us this year, and I thought she was great. I mean, I felt bad kind of sitting her more in the second half because, like, she just came out like a lion, you know. So hopefully she's got some more lion tomorrow for us.
Any other questions from the room? Coach, I have one, actually. Being from the state of Tennessee, having watched you play and watched Coach Summitt navigate March Madness, are there any aspects like of what you experienced as a student athlete playing under Coach Summitt that you bring to the approach here at Duke?
Yeah, I think foundationally, most of what we do comes from Coach Summitt. Most of how we built our program is from that. Stylistically, how we do it, there are some similarities and differences. Although this team plays defense like Tennessee more than any team I've had here. This team does play like we played at Tennessee. They have the athleticism and the Just like ability to overwhelm on some possessions throughout the year, and so I would say this team's closer. I'm not saying they are.
Right. Got it.
My teammates would be mad at me if I said that. Well, no, they're not. I mean, come on. I would lock them up. Come on now. But they're getting closer.
Well, awesome. Thanks, Coach, for the time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.